Normal Redditors that dated a celebrity, what was it like? Not a romantic date in the least, but I had dinner once at a Japanese restaurant, in a group setting, with Leonardo DiCaprio while he was in Louisiana filming Django Unchained. He wanted to know what college was like and was asking us all about our lives. He also let me try his udon. It was my first ever Instagram post. He really is such a nice guy in the limelight, and in real life it felt like we were hanging out with our friend. Salma Hayek is my dad's childhood friend. They grew up together in Coatzacoalcos, Veracruz. They never dated, but they have remained acquaintances if not friends. I never believed him they were friends until one day we ran into her in the airport and she invited us for dinner. She is a really nice person and a lot of fun to hang out with. Not me, but my aunt dated Matthew McConaughey before he was famous. He ended up getting invited to her wedding to my normal uncle, and proceeded to pass out drunk in the back of my family's car. He refused to leave, and now my dad refuses to watch his movies. I had an English teacher that went on a date with Mark Hamill just after filming Star Wars in the 70s. She said he was a nice guy and was very humble. He said he was a small-time actor and said he had just finished a new movie that he thought might be successful. They only went out once and she never heard from him again. Saw him in Star Wars a few months later and had her mind blown. My friend's aunt went on a blind date with Gerard Butler, circa 300, the movie, not the year. There was a big miscommunication, because he was looking for a hookup and she's a kindly French-Canadian woman in her 50s, but they both had a laugh about it and enjoyed supper with each other. She said he was very kind, and very muscular. My aunt was married engaged to Van Morrison briefly. Here they are together on this album artwork. No interesting stories that I could remember. They were in love, but given he was always gone, so the challenges that come with fame, his personality quirks documented in many places, and my aunt's young age at the time, 20, it didn't work out. I was told that he would play guitar for the fam on Christmas get-togethers. Edit, obligatory holy crap, this blew up. I could probably get her to do an AMA if people are really interested. EDIT2, correction, engaged, not married. EDIT3, more clearing up the record after talking more to my aunt. Probably too late for this, but about 15 years ago, when the show The Simple Life, with Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie was popular, I made out with Paris Hilton at a nightclub in Baltimore. Essentially, they were filming them doing all sorts of random jobs around the country and staying with local families, all for the culture clash laughs. One of those families ended up being my friend and her family. Being a close friend, and a well-known admirer of Paris at the time, I was invited over and got to hang with her and Nicole Richie a good amount while they were in town. Both of them were super sweet, and a lot smarter than they played for the camera. Paris was a great kisser, and this story is always a hit with my friends. A few months later, her phone was hacked and nudes were leaked. My number was in her phone book and I got spammed with prank calls from 4chan, or something. I imagine it was a lot worse for anyone who was actually famous. Anyhow, basically lost total contact after that. But still a fun story. A friend of mine banged Matthew McConaughey. She's a costumer in Hollywood and was hanging out in the bar at Chateau Marmont when Matt comes up to her and says, "How about you and me walk 30 feet and get naked?" Her initial response was LOL no, but by the end of the night her friends convinced her she had to do it. This was peak 2000s Matt when he was ripped and constantly shirtless. So she went up to his room at the hotel and they banged. Apparently it was sweaty, mostly from behind, and he preferred to watch them, mostly him, in the mirror. Same girl also dated McGee from NCIS, but apparently he was a total sweetheart. I worked with McGee in my claim to fame acting job and he was a really cool guy. We chatted for like 15 to 20 minutes on a bench until our scene came up. I can imagine your friend said that very humble guy. Years ago at a hotel bar party I saw Alicia Cuthbert sent a bottle of vodka to her table. Upon learning it was me who sent it, she motioned me over to her table. Promptly asked me if I was a drug dealer. Told me I was dressed like a bum. And sent me back to my table with my bottle of vodka. That was my date with Alicia. I guess we just weren't meant to be. Edit. To answer some of your questions, I don't think she was looking for drugs. She said something like, besides dealing drugs, what are you doing here? I was like 20 at the time, and a bit overconfident. This was roughly 13 years ago I think. I am not creepy haha. I saw a hot celebrity, was a little drunk, and took a swing. A lot of she's a bitch comments. I wouldn't call her a bitch for turning down the advances of some random dude that is 4 years younger than her. I also later found out that she was dating an NHL hockey player at the time. I never stood a chance. My mom lived in Key West in the early mid-80s. She dated Sting for a while. He had a really nice yacht and they went on a sailing trip during which he realized my mom is psycho, she is. He ended it right after. Sometimes to F with my dad I'll start singing Roxanne or Message in a Bottle. My college roommate's cousin, I believe, went on a date, maybe multiple dates, with Armie Hammer before he blew up in the social network and apparently he forgot all about the date. They went on and when he tried to reintroduce himself to her at another encounter, she said something along the lines of I know, we used to date. Pretty sure the guy is married now. One of my former best friends owns a luxury condo in Vegas, and Armie Hammer owns the condo right above hers. She has had to talk to him on multiple occasions, because he likes to throw cigarette butts from his patio, and they land on hers. In the 3 or 4 times she's spoken to him, he's never remembered who she is. Seems like his memory isn't exactly the best. My mom had a dinner date with George Clooney in the 90s. She didn't really say much apart from the fact that he's an interesting and charismatic guy, but she honestly didn't think he was going to blow up. My best friend's mom worked with him years ago, their early 20s or college age-ish. He was a shoe salesman, she was security. Said he talked about wanting to act and get famous and everyone doubted him, but he was always nice to everyone and a likable guy. One of my dad's close friends is Jim Carrey's first wife. Apparently he turned into kind of a dick when he got famous. Shocking, I know. I remember a decade or so again when their grown kids band was trying to make a living with their music. She really want Jim to help them get bookings and stuff and he was all they need to make it on their own. Then he got a new girlfriend who told him to help his kid out and he did. First wife is still salty about that. My mom was really good friends with Andriy the Giant, Andriy Rene-Rusimov, because he used to frequent her place of work. According to her he was the sweetest, most gentle man she ever met in her life. She misses him. Edit. Since this blew up I'll add a little bit of unrelated fun. My mom also mooned Hillary Clinton and got a talking to by Secret Service. Edit number 2, from my dad. Yes, she met him downtown Salt Lake City and waited on him whenever he came into the bar she worked at. She said he was a very nice man, his whole hand covered her face plus some. Edit number 3, from my mom, he is very kind person. He would give you the shirt off his back. He was a very calm person when talking with people. He was messed with as a child due to his size. He was from France. He suffered from giantism. He was 7 feet 4 inches tall. He weighed like 500 pounds. He wrestled at Madison Square Gardens. This man was what you call a real gentle giant outside the ring. He put his hand up to my face and it was bigger than my head. He loved his career and his fans. He was very sensitive. He had a real calm voice when talking to him. I was able to sit with him and talk for at least an hour on my lunch breaks when he came to visit. Thank you for watching, subscribe for more.